Thank you, Richard. Yes, cars on the grid then for the Modified Ford Series race here at Silverstone, the second race of the weekend. First one earlier on today won by Tommy Field, with Jack Gadd second and Simon Light in third position. That will therefore be the order in which they will start this second race of the weekend as well. So it is the pair of RSR Ford Escort Mark 1s that start on the front row together. Tommy Field number 8 ahead of 59 Jack Gadd, and then the very rapid Capri. That car started outside the top 10 in race number 1 and is starting this time from the inside of row 2. Could be a contender for a win maybe in the hands of Simon Light. Lloyd Jameson will start fourth in the Escort Cosworth Maxi, then Stephen Scotton Woody and Tom Ovenden on row number 3. Fourth row will be Malcolm Harding and David Matthias, with Paul Restall and Malcolm Wise on row 5. Sixth row, Steve Minton and Paul Neville, and on the 7th row, Chris Baker and Tim Foxlow. Row 8, Tyler England and Wayne Crabtree. 9th row, Gary Johnson and Oliver Bullion, and then the 10th row, Tony Paxman and Mick Head to complete the top 20. We should have more than 19 cars on the grid, I think. The rest of them will file in behind. It should be Caitlin May and Aidan Morris on row 11, row 12, Dave Barrett and Gary Littlewood, row 13, Kevin Hadfield and John Ward, 14th row, Dominic Ryan and Mark Mitchell, with Scott Matthias and Nigel Hutton on row 15. Nope, okay, we're going to start again. Never mind, we've got to the back of the grid anyway, pretty much, so it will then be Ben Purnell and Leroy Brown, Colin Claxton, Paul Sol, Mike Thurley, Dave Cockell and Todd Garner. In fairness, most of those drivers may not be out because they did have mechanical issues in the race earlier on, although I can see Claxton, I think there, definitely Dave Cockell in the sort of Lightning McQueen inspired liveried Escort. But yeah, an interesting racing prospect here. I think Richard John Neal joins me in the commentary box again, and I, for one, am very excited to see what Stephen Light can do. Started outside of the top 10 in race 1 and rocketed through to 3rd. What can he do now from the second row?
Yeah, Simon had a good one, didn't he, in the first race of the day? Completely. He wasn't optimistic about beating those RSRs, though, to be fair.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. I'm giving him more credit maybe than he is, but starting with them, that car will be a bit quicker than them, I think, in a straight line, so he could lead into Copse Corner if he's feeling punchy.
It's a good point, and to be fair, most of the drivers are actually quite modest about what they can do and what their cars can do. There's nobody that brags or is arrogant in this series. They're out there, they love the machinery, they love racing it and seeing what it can do against the other cars. And yeah, Simon, he could well do it. He reckons he might be able to get a good start, but he said it will be a fight from there on in.
Funny, isn't it? In a series like this, we congratulate the drivers for not bragging, and then we hear the juniors say, yeah, I know I can win a race, and we're like, yeah, go you. But very different kind of series, this, to something like Ginetta Juniors, isn't it? That's for sure. Anyway, Tommy Field and Jack Gadd on the front row together. 2 by 2, they run to the line. And the lights go out. We're away in racing once again here at Silverstone, and this is always a hold your breath moment as they head 2 and 3 abreast into Copse Corner. It won't be Simon Light who leads them at the first corner. It will be one of the RSR Escorts. Bit of contact maybe in the middle of the pack, but they're all getting through safely. That was Malcolm Wise, I think, getting tapped a bit sideways, and he's lost his momentum as a result. Look at this though, Tommy Field versus Jack Gadd for the lead, and Jack Gadd wants to try and take the fight to Tommy early doors here, and that's exactly what he's doing.
He is, so the 2 RSRs, look at them. Away, Simon Light might close up now. The straight's probably not quite long enough for him, is it? He'd like the straight at Santa Pod, probably.
A road course at Santa Pod, there's a good idea.
There's a story there, remind me one day.
Oh, I will do. There's plenty of these stories that we think of that we never get round to. We must meet up for an evening of chat one day. There is Jack Gadd then, round the outside of Tommy Field, holding on to the lead, but he almost loses control. Oh, what a save that was from Jack Gadd. How did he hang on to the car there? He almost did that at Beckett's and got even closer to disaster at Luffield.
Yeah, it kind of killed the race though, isn't it? For the moment, he'll try and come back. Tommy Field doesn't make it. Interesting, wasn't it, to hear Tommy Field say that this is the first time, believe it or not, on the international circuit since he was in Formula Ford.
Really?
Years ago.
Really?
Yeah,
when would that have been? Put you on the spot there.
I wouldn't know.
A while ago.
A
while ago, definitely. Now that is Lloyd Jameson dicing with Tom Ovenden. And Tom, I think, slipping through there as they went into Beckett's corner. It's the first time, I think, certainly under the BRSCC, that the Modified Ford Series has actually raced on the national circuit. Usually it's the GP or the International that they go for. There was a slow car there going into Beckett's. Try and pick up on who that was in a minute, but there Lloyd Jameson getting up the inside of Tom Ovenden, gets past the Escort, which is jinking around behind him. They all seem a little bit grip limited, don't they? It's a lot warmer now than it was first thing this morning when they were out on track for qualifying, and a little bit warmer even than it was for their first race earlier on today. And they are perhaps just struggling a little bit for rear grip. You said that moment for Jack Gadd killed the race, Richard. I don't often disagree with you, but I think I'm going to on this occasion, because he was faster than Tommy Field on the previous lap. He set the fastest lap of the race, and he's back within a second of him.
Yeah, he's having a go, isn't he? Could well win this one. I've got to say, out of the two drivers, 1 and 2 in the first race of the day, he looked the cooler of the two. He did have a little bit longer to cool off and grab water, because we had quite a long chat with Tommy Field as we were heading into the lunch break, which was good. But yeah, he's closing down again, so we've got that race potentially on, and the fans can enjoy watching Simon on skid. Stephen Scott Dunwoody having a good run here, fourth though.
Yes, he is up in fourth position. Ran well at the start of the earlier race, didn't he? Caitlin May, by the way, has just pulled into the pit lane. That's a shame for Caitlin. Looks like she might be possibly out of the race, but Dave Cockell here charging through. Now, Dave Cockell started stone dead last on the grid in this race. He is ninth.
Wow.
Well, he was at the start of the lap. I think he's picked up another couple of places, because that's Tom Ovenden in front of him now, who I believe is running in 6th place. So Dave Cockell's car is absolutely flying.
It is, and sadly, I don't think we're going to see Dave at the festival, because he said he'll want that time, because that's the next time I think we see them with us at BRSCC. Formula Ford Festival. Appropriate that we have some blue oval saloons there, which will be great. So he's getting ready for Navarra, which is their away run, which we've spoken about a little bit. What I love with the comparison here, the RSRs are very faithful to the original dimensions of the car. When you see them for the later models, you see how small family saloons were in the late 60s and early 70s.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the average Citroen C1 might be bigger than that car.
It probably could be.
Yeah, not far off, I think. So anyway, down towards Brooklands. Dave Cockell picking another one off. That's making this look easy. That's 4th place now. Wow,
that's good going, isn't it, Dave Cockell? What if we get him up onto the podium? It would be top 3 silverware we do in these. Would have been nice to have had the class winners, but a little bit much for the Katie, the championship coordinator, as is today, or the lady that's helping us out in pit lane to pick 6 classes out when they come through. So top 3 is what the trophies are. Hopefully at the festival we'll do some background chats with some of the other drivers and pop that into the feed over the course of the weekend, as we look at Wayne Crabtree in his one of 2 light blue Mark 1s. Not sure on the engine in that one compared to Tony Paxman's car. And is that Mr. Foxlow dicing with him?
I think it is, yep. Foxlow in the 144. Tim Foxlow in the same class as Tom Ovenden, actually, but Tom obviously a little bit further up the field. But Tim nips up the inside of Tony and manages to pick up a place as they head through. Not Tony, Wayne, wasn't it, in the number 5, who he got past there at Cobb's Corner. And picks his way past the sort of Gulf livery number 5 car. Turns into Beckett's corner. Then they've got the little Fiesta behind. That's one of the things I love about this series. You've got cars that span 3 or 4 decades of Ford motor history, and often competing in pretty close proximity on the track. There aren't that many series that pit Mark 1 Ford Escorts against Ford Fiestas, are there?
No, there aren't, and it's a joy. And everyone knows the Fords, and I think there was a working relationship between the club. I've probably said this before, and the Professionals programme with Martin Shaw.
Oh yes.
And Lewis Collins. In the very early episodes, they were all the way through. They're driving Escorts or Capris, and in the early episodes, I think Series 1, the tax disc holder is the old style BRSCC logo.
Is it really?
If you go back and look and freeze frame it, yeah.
Wow, I never knew that. Scott Woodward's eyes are gleaming next to me. He's thinking social media post. I'm sure we'll see that on the old socials in the...
I'd love to know the story behind it, but I haven't been able to find out so far.
Definitely. I've seen a fountain of knowledge, Richard. Whoa, my word, that's a bit wide for Steve Minton into Brooklands. I thought he was heading straight off the road there. That's a good-looking car, isn't it, the Steve Minton Escort?
Yeah.
And being caught by Tom Ovenden here, but in fact, no, he's overtaken Tom Ovenden, who is struggling a little bit in this race, but some brilliant-looking cars. I really do wish that I had a bit more time to go and wander around the paddock even. It's been a long day, and really get up close and personal with these cars, because they are stunning and immaculately prepared.
That's the thing, isn't it? They're the pride and joy of the owners, and if you heard the interview that we did with Tommy Field, huge amount of work goes on between each round, because these track events take a huge amount out of the cars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're just maintaining them. We don't just rock up and send them on the track. These are cars that require full preparation ahead of every round, but we really are grateful for them doing it. Dave Cockell, by the way, is ahead of Simon Light now, I just noticed, so Cockell into 3rd. Dave Cockell's lap times, well, he has set the fastest lap of the race, and he's lapping over a second a lap quicker than the RSRs. and he's got over 8 minutes to try and catch them, Richard.
Go on, Dave Cockell. And that's not favouritism. We just want to see a battle for the lead, don't we?
Well, I mean, he was 36th on the grid. I think if he can win, I think that's worthy of celebration, isn't it? Now, granted, a few drivers might not have been there in front of him, but I'd wager well, how many do we have starting this race? We've got 29 cars started, and he was last. So he was 29th on the grid, and he's up into third position already. Of course, it's the class position that matters in a way. He's already guaranteed a class podium, but he wants to be on the top step.
Folk will disagree with me, but as a spectator in the 90s, this is today's Thunder Saloons.
Yeah, I agree.
To me, if you might have seen some video of it and stuff, or black and white photographs of it, and but it really is. Yeah. It's the same vibe. It's probably better organised than Thunder Saloons were. I know people will tell me off for that, but Thunder Saloons had 1 or 2 or 3 really big, powerful cars. These are far more evenly matched.
Yeah,
and well matched within class as well.
Yeah, and just as spectacular, just as noisy, just as well prepared. Yeah, no, I actually really agree with that, and it's why it continues to be very popular and a really, really welcome addition to the package here at the BRSCC, and has come on leaps and bounds, I would say, since it was being run by the BRSCC from a number of years ago. Right, Dave Cockell quicker again than the leaders. He is the only driver lapping underneath the 60-second mark at the moment, and he's within 4 seconds of the leader, and actually within 1 second now of Jack Gadd for second place.
Yep, probably a good time to spend a wee bit of time having a look at this. Drove up this morning, didn't decide to have the whole weekend with it. Some of the drivers were here yesterday, enjoyed soaking up the atmosphere. I suspect some were probably testing on Friday as well, very possibly. Do you reckon is he going to get P2?
I think he's going to get P1, to be honest, the rate he's going. I mean, in clean air, he's about a second a lap quicker than Tommy Field. If he gets past Jack Gadd quickly, I do think the race win might be on here. The four-wheel drive Escort Cosworth with brilliant traction off the corners. Now, traction is something Jack Gadd has been limited on in this race at times, so that doesn't really bode well for him, does it? The thing about Cockell's car, though, is it's pretty rapid in a straight line as well. Jack Gadd moves to the inside to cover, then drifts back over onto the racing line, but there is a sense of inevitability about this.
There is. He's taking his time, though, isn't he, at the minute?
Just building the drama, you know. If he got past now, he'd catch Tommy Field too soon. We want him catching him on the final lap of the race. Now is the time to go for it. Oh, my word, that was close, but he does manage to slip through.
He does. What's your preference, the newer Escort or the Mark 1? Shape-wise?
I'm a 90s child, so it's got to be the new one. It evokes some pretty special rallying memories from very early days in my childhood, but a fan of both. But yeah, there's something about 90s boxiness that I've always been a big fan of. Yeah,
they do look great, don't they? So it's coming up on the gaggle of cars. Yeah, not that far behind Tommy, is he now? Tommy's just cleared Tony Paxman, who's in the blue 57 there. And great to see Tony back. Medical problems from last year. He was hobbling about at the festival last year watching these cars, but great to see him back in. He was due to be back out at Snet. I don't know what the reason was why he wasn't there, but he was chilling out. And Tony's catchphrase, how are you, Tony? Flat out, son.
Well, yes, Dave Cockell living up to that catchphrase at the moment, isn't he? Charging after the leaders, a second and a half the gap. He still managed to do a 59-second lap on that lap, even with the overtake against Jack Gadd. So only a matter of time. There, look, is the race leader. You can see the burn marks on the back of Tommy Field's car from the flames that spit from the back of that thing.
Tommy Burn.
Tommy, is that what I said?
No, that's what I said. Tommy Burn.
Yes, could go by that alias, couldn't he? But this car is a hugely spectacular car. If we ever get a long shot of it down the Wellington Straight, you can really see the flames spitting from the back of the car. I wonder whether he has to repaint that before every round, because the scorch marks, I don't remember being there at the start of the weekend. Across the line they go then. The lead gap was 1.5 seconds. It is now 0.2 of a second, and Dave Cockell is within striking range now, but where can he make the move?
Yeah, place your bets here. We can have a little lottery, couldn't we, here? See who can pick out where it is going to happen. I'm wondering if... Now, what I can't compare at this time is the lap times that we've had for Tommy Field in race number 1, whether he's taken some performance out of the car over the course of the 2 races, whether he's actually slower than he was in race number 1 or not.
He has set a faster lap in this race, but I would say at this point in the race maybe going a bit slower. If we get a moment, I'll look at the lap times, but certainly he has gone faster in this race, albeit earlier in the race, so maybe has taken a bit too much performance out of the car early doors in this one. In fairness, though, Cockell having caught him not actually having an easy time getting through. And this is all down to how these two cars generate their lap times, because the RSR quite clearly, its thing is straight line speed. It gets off the corners and it accelerates down the straights very quickly. The Escort, the Cockell Escort, four-wheel drive, better off the corner, slightly better traction mid-corner as well, but it's very difficult to overtake a car that is quicker than you in a straight line.
Absolutely right, and Tommy Field, a quick driver, still a quick driver, and people forget that he was a quality Formula Ford driver.
Yeah.
I think it was around the time maybe that Rob Collard was in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think.
1973. That was a look of genuine anger then from Richard John Neal, everybody.
I was just thinking what Rob would do to you.
Well, I do have to speak to him in a few weeks at Brands Hatch. That's a very good point. Yes, I'm sure he'd take it all in his stride, but he has been around for a while. Maybe not that long, but has been around for a while. But yeah, it's a good point, actually. Tommy did have some success in Formula 4, didn't he? And continuing to have Blue Oval-related success here. But is he going to win the race? That's the question. Dave Cockell putting the pressure on him. And Simon Light in fourth position, I should say, in the Capri, running a bit wide over the exit curve there, coming out of Brooklands corner. Lead gap actually out to a second now. So Dave Cockell, 0.6 of a second, comes down ever so slightly. But in traffic, of course, difficult to maintain that consistent pace, isn't it?
It is, and you're getting what you wanted. It's going to be nip and tuck at the end.
Let's see, the script writers do their job, don't they? This is, going to be a close finish. Where can Dave Cockell make the move? 2 laps, I reckon he's got to try and figure this one out. Simon Light accelerating away. Class leaders, by the way. Stephen Stockton-Woody's leading his class again. So too Tom Ovenden, Chris Baker as well. In fact, I think all of the class leaders are pretty much the same as they were in the race earlier on today. Right, this is closer now. Dave Cockell looking up the inside as they head towards Brooklands corner. Oh, he's right alongside Tommy Field. Did he make that one stick? No, big wobble there from the Escort Cosworth. And Dave Cockell still can't quite find a way through. Tommy Field soaring away at the wheel there as well as he went through Luffield corner and has a big power slide on corner exit. Flames spitting out of the back of the RSR. We are going to have, I reckon, just the one more lap to go here then, and Dave Cockell, having caught the leader, just cannot find a way through. That, though, I'd say, Richard, was his best chance yet.
Yeah, it was. Now, is he running out of time, Dave Cockell? It's been a super drive. Looking forward to having the chat with him about it, to see what he thinks, but it's Tommy Field still out front at the moment, 43 seconds on the clock.
Yep, down towards Beckett's we go, wriggling around under braking. Dave Cockell looking for a good exit from this corner. Good traction from the Escort Cosworth. Could yield an opportunity. He's carried the speed. Oh, huge moment for Tommy Field, who almost clattered into the side of Dave Cockell's car. Dave surely would have had to have lifted off the throttle there. Is he strong enough under braking into Brooklands? The answer is going to be no. And actually, that mistake, really, from Tommy Field might end up winning him the race. They're nip and tuck as they turn through Brooklands, heading in towards Luffield corner, but I think, Richard, that Tommy Field's going to hang on.
It does look as if Tommy Field is going to hang on, but it's the grandstand finish we hope for, the modified Ford Series. Now here comes Cockell, run to the flag.
Oh, it's going to be side by side at the line, is it? This could be very, very, very close indeed. It is going to be close, and he's got it. Cockell's got it by 0.2 of a second, and that is because he could keep his foot pinned to the floor through Woodcote, and Tommy Field couldn't because the back of the car was stepping out from underneath him, and Dave Cockell snatches the win on the very last corner. How many side-by-side runs to the flag have we had today? It's been one of the best days of racing I can remember for an awfully long time, and the modified Fords have put on a show. They've been a huge, integral part of that this weekend. That second race in particular, an absolute thriller. So, well, I did get my wish there, a real grandstand finish, and Dave Cockell snatches it on the line by 0.2 from the sideways Tommy Field. Fantastic stuff. Well, catch your breath, everybody, after that terrific modified Ford race. A race that was won in the end, perhaps against all odds really, by Dave Cockell, who didn't finish race number 1. I'm not even convinced he started race number 1 actually. No, he didn't start race 1, so they were his first racing laps of the weekend, and he managed to come from 29th on the grid to win at the final corner. Tommy Field comes home in second position, Jack Gadd third, Simon Light fourth, Stephen Stockton-Woody in fifth, Tom Ovenden in sixth, David Matthias in seventh, then Steve Minton, Malcolm Wise and Paul Neville. Then it's Chris Baker and Tim Foxlow, with Wayne Crabtree and Tyler Ingram in 14th position. 15th place for Mike Thurley, then Tony Paxman and Oliver Bullion, Gary Johnson in the 18th position, 19th place Leroy Brown, 20th Mick Head, and then Aidan Morris with Dave Barrett once again claiming a class win in 22nd overall, Gary Littlewood, Kevin Hadfield, John Ward, Mark Mitchell and Lloyd Jameson. Lloyd Jameson a non-finisher unfortunately, so was Caitlin May, and Paul Restall also failing to finish the race. Well, fantastic stuff from the Modified Ford Series, and we will, as Richard John Neal quite rightly said, see them back out again at the Brands Hatch Formula Ford Festival. That's the last of the live streamed events this season for the BRSCC. It's been a busy year of live streaming coverage, all courtesy of Alpha Live, who have worked exceptionally hard, as always they do, to bring us some phenomenal coverage throughout the 2024 season, and they will be with us at the Formula Ford Festival at season's end. To bring us what is always a highlight of the British motor racing calendar. Right then, let's head down to the pit lane, shall we, for the final time today, actually, to hear from Richard John Neal with our Modified Ford podium finishers.
The weekend's gone all too quickly for me, and here we go. Let's go and grab a word with Dave. Bonnets up, having a look under the engines, making sure that all is okay. Kind of bookends the day for me. I started the day by talking to Dave Cockell in the pit lane. Dave, many congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll get you in front of a bit of BRSCC branding. I'll make Shane's whistle around here. And I was just saying, this bookended my day because I was having a chat with you in the paddock earlier on this morning. And you said you couldn't beat the RSRs. You did, and from the back of the grid.
I honestly, genuinely didn't expect to. I mean, that's probably the hardest I've drove in a long time. And I got a problem at the end as well. I thought I caught Tommy, and then it was misfiring out of some corners. I'm like, no, not now. But I don't know how I passed him on dragged at line because it was popping and banging. And so, yeah.
It's a hard race, but that's what it's about, isn't it, when you come through?
After this morning's disappointment, shall we say, and leave it at that.
What happened?
It was a disappointment.
That's fair enough, yeah. Just testing.
After that, yeah, to start 38th, I think, and then win, particularly against, I mean, there's some quick cars here besides the RSRs, but yeah, to come and win from there, I'm over the moon.
Brilliant stuff. Yeah, grab a drink while I think about the next question. Well, I've already thought about it. We were chatting, and we're not going to see you at Brands because you're getting ready for Navarra. Is that what you said to me this morning?
Yeah, that's my.
come to Brands. Go on.
That's my plan to get Brands. To me, Brands is a bit too close to Navarra for prep time. So I do pretty much everything myself. So apart from engine and transmissions professionally rebuilt, the rest of the car I do myself. So it's time. And I thought Brands Hatch is a bit too close to do. I'd like to do it, don't get me wrong, especially now. Yeah.
That's great. We don't have a driver of the day as such, but for me that was driver of the day. Well done. Congratulations, Dave.
Thank you.
I hope we get to see you on the top step of the podium again soon.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
Great. Well, Dave Cockell takes the win. And Tommy Field in P2. Tommy, we get to have another chat. We did the chat in full last time, but what did you go over and say to Dave?
That's just well done, fair play.
Nice one.
Yeah, absolutely fair play. The car's been great, to be honest, but we're just struggling with the rear left, but blistering the tyre. Literally, that's a third tyre. Blistering it till it's nearly falling apart, you know. And I could see, obviously, I saw we dropped Jack, and I thought, that's fine, we can keep a pace here. Turned the boost down, started to get steady. And I looked at him and I thought, what's he doing here? So we whacked it back up a little bit, but time I put the boost back up, the tyre was finished.
Question from Andy McEwen in the comms box during the race. The burn marks on the back of the car, do you have to repaint it or does it just clean off?
That just cleans off. Yeah, it just cleans off, yeah. That just wipe off. Bit of brake cleaner, it'll come off, so that's all good.
It's spectacular though. Can it affect the cars behind?
No. I don't know. Ask Dave. I've never been behind it.
Back.
Yeah.
Decent weekend. Enjoyed your racing?
Fantastic, mate. Yeah, had a great weekend, good crack, and 2 good races. So.
One more question was when was Formula Ford? Because you mentioned here, and Andy was being cheeky and said 1973. So you can go and slap him for that.
Believe off. No, what would that be? 96, 97 when they did the Toka.
Was Rob Collard did it then?
Yeah, Rob's my teammate with Swift for a while.
I remember saying correctly.
Yeah, you did. You remember, and obviously there was Jensen was in the championship at the time. Dan Weldon.
Wow.
God bless. And Justin Wilson and all the good drivers. So yeah, but that's the last time we raced on the little circuit. But no, great fun.
It's been great to have you back. Thanks for 2 great races. Tommy, always a pleasure. Thanks ever so much. Well done. And P3, Jack Gadd. So let's have a quick word with Jack. Get him over again. Another podium interview. Hi, Jack. Very squirrely in those opening stages, mate.
It was good fun for a couple of laps, and then we had a bit of problems with water temps again. So yeah, it just sort of cut the engine out a little bit and we lost a bit of power. So really good fun.
I was talking to Andy in that race, and I said after we did the race 1 interviews, out of the 3 drivers that were top 3, you look the coolest and calmest. Does that mean you're the fittest driver?
I think they're a lot older than me. Don't tell them I said that.
I did say you had longer to get ready and have a drink because we had a long interview with Tommy, but again, you don't look like you've had that much of a workout, so youth does sort of count, doesn't it? But it's a great thing about this championship. You've got wonderful drivers that race at a great level like Tommy Field, Dave Cockell with his fantastic machinery, and the smile on your face says a lot for me.
No, it's brilliant. It's good to be racing with drivers like these two, so clean, so fair. It's brilliant. It really is good.
Are you at Brands?
We'll be at Brands.
Navarra as well?
We're thinking about it. We're keen.
You know you want to because you're getting to October, you have nothing else to do, are you?
No, I think we'll be there.
Nice one, Jack. Thanks ever so much. 2 great podiums. Sorry to catch you mid-drink there. Well done. Chat Gag completes.